Before we can start UV unwrapping our low resolution model, we need to make some changes to it. So in our scene outliner here, I will hide the high resolution group and bring back the low resolution group. And let's talk about some of the modeling decisions that we made while creating all these parts. If we take a look at the cross guard in particular, many of the modeling decisions that we made for this were done with the intention of creating the high resolution model, the most notable of which being this polygon right here. As you recall, we needed to bevel this edge so that this polygon could remain a quad. This strip of polygons, though, does not contribute to the overall silhouette of the crossguard and only adds additional polygons and therefore light calculations to our model. This makes them unnecessary and we should get rid of them. So before we start UV unwrapping the model, we need to go through a process called optimization, which is where we're going to look at our model and we're going to delete any polygons that are not necessary in order to reduce this overall number. You see that number 324? That is the number for triangles on this particular object. There are a few different ways to do this. One thing that's important to know is that auto merge editing should be turned on. And if you have proportional editing turned on, you should turn it off. And let's begin. So first we'll deal with these. So if I go to edge mode, I can select these edges. I'll select these two all the way up here, and I will hit Alt-M and collapse them, which is to say merging the two vertices that they connect together. So as you see, we get rid of that entire polygon strip. Now this does give us a triangle here, but now that we already have our high resolution model created, it's perfectly fine to have some triangles. So if we go over here, we can grab these and these, and we can collapse those as well. Now when it comes to this right here, going all the way into the middle, we don't want to collapse these. We want to do what's known as dissolving them. So here's what dissolving means. If I hit X, instead of deleting them, I can dissolve them. And what that will do is it will remove them and it will bridge the polygon gap that it leaves behind. So as you take a look right here, I will dissolve. And you see now these are single polygons instead of being split in two. If I were to delete them, that gives us a much different result. So that will also delete their connected faces. We just want to dissolve them, which will give us very clean geometry like so. In fact, I might even collapse that polygon too. We should collapse these edges as well. And then we can also merge these vertices together. So the way we can do that is if we go to vertex mode, with auto merge editing enabled and we turn on snapping, I can hit G and hover my mouse cursor over a nearby vertex, click, and they will be merged. There we go. Now as you can see, we've reduced our triangle count here from 324 to 206. And that's for just this one half. So we've really reduced the overall triangle count for the guard by over 200 triangles. Some more substantial changes that we could make is that the low resolution version of the blade probably doesn't actually need the fuller modeled into it, because it makes very little difference on the silhouette, and mostly that was done for the purposes of the high resolution model. So what we can do is I will dissolve these edges and then I can dissolve these edges. As you see, that just creates a single straight band of polygons all the way to the end, and then we can delete or dissolve these in the middle as well. Might want to grab this vertex at the end here and just move that up slightly. Make sure you turn snapping off, otherwise it'll jump all over the place. There we go. Now the handle, there's not a whole lot we can do with this, but we can delete the caps. So if we go to face mode, we can select both ends because they are completely covered by other geometry. We can simply get rid of them. And on the pommel, I'm going to apply this modifier actually. And I'm going to delete the entire cross right here. We only needed that for the high resolution model, and this can just be perfectly flat. So to quickly do that, I can select this ring of polygons and Alt right click or Alt Shift right click this ring, delete them, select one face on both sides, and grow my selection by hitting Control plus and delete those. Finally, to actually fill this in, I can go to Edge mode, Alt right click on both edges, hit F, and then to make sure we don't have this 16-sided polygon, I can hit Alt P to do what's known as poking the face, which will create a vertex in the very center and draw an edge out to each vertex along the edge of the face itself. Also, we don't need this edge loop in the middle, so we can dissolve that. And finally, we can make some changes to this panel. To do that, we'll have to apply our modifiers, and then we can delete the faces that are on the bottom, because again, we won't be seeing those. There's no reason to have them. Same thing with these pins. We can delete the bottom face. And then in this particular instance, there's a lot of this pin that we actually can't see because it's inside the handle. So to optimize our UV texture space, I can grab this edge and move it up, grab these edges or these vertices and do the same thing. And that way the polygons along the side take up physically less surface area, which means they won't take up as much space in our UV map. And there we go. The model is now optimized and we are ready to UV unwrap it.